So, good afternoon students, welcome back to chemistry online classes. So, once again, see, in the previous class, I completed in 16 group elements, especially that is first physical properties, right? Okay, then anomalous properties of oxygen. Okay, and yesterday I completed chemical properties, reactivity with the hydrogen, reactivity with the oxygen, reactivity with the halogens, right students? Then later students I covered especially dioxygen, oxygen, its physical properties, chemical properties, preparation, then oxides, and we also studied types of oxides, simple oxides, okay, mixed oxides, then further simple oxides depending upon the nature, acidic oxide, basic oxide, amphoteric oxide, and neutral oxides. With example I have detailed and explained. Okay, in detail I have explained. Now let us go to today another important compound of the 16 group element, that is ozone, that is O3. Okay, right. Ozone is actually, it is another allotrop of oxygen, another allotrop of oxygen. Okay, dioxygen, that is O2 and O3, right. This ozone actually it was discovered by, its chemical existence was first discovered by Christiana Frederick Schonben in 1840, and its name was, or its existence was not still confirmed, its formula was not still confirmed up to 1867. Okay, George Louis, that is Pasteur, George Louis Pasteur, or further Schonben only once again reconfirmed structure of ozone. Ozone means, it is derived from the Greek word ozoin, means to smell. It is having some pungent like smell. Ozoin, that means it is derived from ozoin, means smell. Some smell or odor, that is having pungent odor. But see, this ozone was prepared by Schonben only by using some, what we call it as a Siemens ozonizer and Brodie's ozonizer. And this ozone, exactly it is present in the atmosphere, where in the troposphere, exactly 20 kilometers from the surface of the earth, 20 kilometers from the surface of the earth. So it is formed by ultraviolet sun rays when they react with the molecular oxygen in the presence of diffuse sunlight. Okay, it is produced in the nature, that is O3. But in the laboratory by Siemens ozonizer and Brodie's ozonizer we can convert dioxygen into ozone. Okay, let us see. Let us say dioxygen into ozone. That is means by slow structuring, by passing slow structuring oxygen, okay, with the electric discharge is struck. 3 moles of O2 gets converts into 2 moles of that is what? O3, that is oxygen, right? And this is highly exothermic reaction, 142 kilojoules of energy. Conversion of O2 into O3 is exothermic, but reverse reaction, that is 2O3 converting into 3O2, okay, is delta H is highly endothermic, 142 kilojoules. That's why it is highly, that means reverse reaction is endothermic, but the forward reaction is exothermic in the nature. So this is how we can have a very important knowledge about the ozone. Conversion fact is very, very important as far as ozone is concerned. Okay, right. That is 3O2 into 3, first one itself is endothermic and this is reverse is exothermic. I am extremely sorry. First one is endothermic and this is exothermic. Decomposition is exothermic here, but formation is endothermic. And remember, this O3 decomposes to O2 and produces nascent oxygen. That's why it acts as powerful oxidizing agent. Due to what? This nascent oxygen atom gives its oxidizing property or physical property, bleaching action, that means change in the color. Its bleaching action is such a strong that it can bleach even ivory. Ivory, it can lose its color. Ivory means ane danta ಅಂತಿರಲ್ಲ ಅದು. ಓಕೆ, ಅಂದರೆ ಆನೆಯ ಒಂದು ಹಲ್ಲುಗಳಿಗೆ ನಾವು ದಂತ ಅಂತೀವಿ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ. ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಐವರಿ. Even wool, even in all textile industry, it is used for bleaching purpose. And you will sometimes see ozonized water, because see, formation is, that means only 10% oxygen, only 10% oxygen is converted into ozone. As early as possible, once again it decomposes to give, that is oxygen. Okay, that's why it is called what? Ozonized oxygen. Ozonized oxygen, that is act as disinfectant, and especially it is used for drinking water also. See, in the train generally will see the drinking water bottles, ozonized water, that's only. Okay, they will kill the germs in the water, make it disinfectant and fit for drinking purpose, good for health. Right, that's about see, preparation part. How, if they ask you for 2 marks, we are still able to tell. Ozone is prepared by slow electric discharge of molecular oxygen, which is highly endothermic reaction. And this reaction, ozone, is converted into oxygen, decomposition with a highly exothermic reaction. But the thing is, only 10% oxygen is converted into ozone. That's why it is called ozonized oxygen. And ozone is known for its oxidizing power due to nascent oxygen. This only will be responsible for bleaching action of the ozone. Okay, but in the stratosphere, about 20 kilometer, molecular oxygen, when it comes in contact with the diffuse sunlight, okay, natural ozone will be formed. But day to day, you are observing there is so many pollution. Because of pollution, there is a disturbance in the environmental pollution. That leads to, see, what we are using for luxurious purpose, refrigerators, air conditioners, they are giving CFCs, chlorofluorocarbons. And these chlorofluorocarbons, they produce what? Free radical, chlorine free radical, very dangerous. One chlorine free radical has capacity to deplete about 1000 molecules of ozone. Not only that, even oxides of nitrogen, nitric oxide, nitrogen dioxide, further they are combined with this ozone and they become acidic, and they are given out by automobile exhaust and super jet, that is supersonic jets, that means aeroplanes. When they will exhaust these petroleum products, they will form these oxides, which is also responsible for this depletion of ozone layer. The first time in the year 1894, this ozone hole was observed in the Antarctica region. Okay, and students, you are experiencing now, because of this lockdown, you have seen 2 months, right? There is enormous decrease in the pollution of oxygen. Carbon dioxide content became less, oxygen became more. Automatically, see, the whole environment gets clean, and because of that, we are receiving more rain this year. This is all climatic factor, biological factor. That means that's what biology and chemistry both are interrelated to each other. Okay. See, one important, very important, that is use or advantage of this corona, that is what we call it as cleaning of environment by itself. See, Mother Nature is cleaning by itself. We the human beings, we are dangerously polluting the environment. Okay, right. So that's about important information regarding ozone. Now let us move on to next. This is, if they ask you preparation, first you have to write this equation. Okay, this is not necessary. Above one is more than enough. Okay. Then what are the physical properties? As you know that this is the isotope of oxygen present above, exactly 20 kilometers above in the atmospheric air, right? And this is responsible for maintaining. See, this will protect us. It will protect us from ultraviolet rays of the sun, that you already know. It acts as a filter. Direct sunlight will not come to Earth. It will be pierced through this atmosphere that is containing this troposphere containing this ozone layer, that will filter the UV radiations and allow only the radiation necessary necessary for life. Okay, so it acts as filter. Right, it protects us from the ultraviolet rays of the sun. Right, next physical properties. Ozone is actually pale blue gas. Okay, at room temperature, but get changes to pale blue liquid. Get transited to pale blue liquid 1 at about 161.6 Kelvin. 6 Kelvin. Further, if it changes to violet black solid at about exactly 96 Kelvin, or at violet black solid, it will get converted into, generally in the physical properties, that's correct only, 86 Kelvin. At 86 Kelvin it will get converted into violet black solid. Okay. So like this, in physical properties, it is normally what we see in the sky, it looks like pale red. Actually it is nothing but ozone. Right, exactly 20 kilometers from the surface of from the Earth's surface. Then it will get transited to pale blue liquid when lower to 161. And up to 96, even up to 86, sometimes 68 also in books they are given. Up to 68 Kelvin, if you compress it, cool it, freeze it will get converted to violet black solid. Very, very important. PBRB. Very, very important for CET and NEET. They will ask you this transition, particularly this transition temperature you have to remember. Okay? Right. Now I will tell you after this physical properties, ozone is sparingly soluble in water. Sparingly soluble. Not readily, sparingly soluble in water. But it is readily soluble in turpentine oil. Readily soluble in turpentine oil. Turpentine is organic in the nature. Generally that means it is readily soluble in organic solvent like turpentine oil, sparingly soluble in water. But this ozone, as per thing is concerned, its decomposition is highly exothermic. It is somewhat acidic in the nature. If we inhale directly this gas, it is poisonous gas. It is poisonous gas, not good for health because of its, that's what, oxidizing power. Remember. Okay? Right. But this will cause that's only. If you directly inhale this gas for a longer time, you will suffer from nausea and even giddiness also. And headache, giddiness and nausea. Generally we are suggested we have to bed early. Okay? And in the morning, just have to go for bed early and just get up early in the morning. Usually in the morning 3:30, we will call it as Brahmi Muhurta. And students are advised to especially study in this Brahmi Muhurta. Why? There is a scientific fact, there is behind it, it is a scientific fact. What it is, that's why this ozone layer comes to very close to Earth. Okay? And that's what it will decompose, give more oxygen. That's why at that time, the rate of oxygen is more, our activity of brain also more. That's why we are advised to wake up in the morning at 3:30 to exactly 5 o'clock. It is called Brahmi Muhurta. Right? Once again it will go up to 20 kilometers above after 5 o'clock. That's what we get, more oxygen, brain activity will be more and will function. That's why, means if you read in this particular time, it will be remembered for a long time. Why? Because of oxygen. For every activity, brain needs more oxygen. That's why if we get sufficient oxygen, activity of brain will be more. That's it. Now this is about very important information regarding ozone. Now coming to next is chemical properties. Focusing on oxidizing property. This ozone, I told you it's nascent, it is oxidizing agent. See, ozone decomposes to form molecular oxygen and nascent oxygen. This is responsible for oxidizing. Some oxidizing property are lead sulfide PbS plus O3. It will oxidize -2 lead sulfide to lead sulfate PbSO4, and once again it decomposes to O. See that O, nascent oxygen, got O. Right? So this is how generally we can see 4 PbS. Okay, so sorry, 4O3, and here we need generally 2 PbS, so 2 PbSO4, sorry, this is 4O2 molecular oxygen and PbSO4 is more than enough, right? Lead sulfate, PbSO4, and 4 is at 12, that side also 8 plus 4. That means it is oxidized to lead sulfate. That means minus 2 plus 6. Minus 2 plus increase in oxidation itself 0 to here it is minus 1. Reduced to molecular oxygen. Got it? So that means it oxidizes lead sulfide to lead sulfate. Lead sulfate. Not only this, even iodide in aqueous medium, S2O, okay, by the ozone gets converted into see, water to OH minus aqueous and I minus 2, that is iodine, violet vapors, and once again into 2OH minus, that's it, 2OH minus. Here is a 4, that is also 4, hydrogen also balance, everything, 2I minus. This is how iodide ions are oxidized to iodine, minus 1 to 0, itself once again, ozone to minus 1. These are the best example to show oxidizing property of that is ozone. Not only this, even further nitric oxide to nitrogen dioxide and O2. Okay, then nitrogen dioxide by ozone to NO3, and these are left into atmosphere and these are produced by supersonic jet planes that will be oxidized by ozone to see nitrogen dioxide and NO3 highly unstable, responsible for depletion of ozone layer, and refrigerators and air conditioners also creates this free radical are equally responsible for depletion of ozone layer, right? So that's why this is some important oxidizing natures. Then further, what is the structure of this ozone? Structure of ozone. Already you see bent V-shaped structure. Bent V-shaped structure of ozone. The first here in chemical bonding with the help of calculating formal charge, we have studied ozone. Ozone O3, right? There are 18 electrons. You will write like this. First single bond, okay. Then here double bond 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, right? 2, 4, 6, 8, and this is 2, 4, 6, 8. Balance. You can also make it resonant by shifting the electrons, right? Here. So this will come over here. Oxygen, single bond 2, 4, 6, and here double bond. That is 2, 4, and this value is first, second. This is angular in structure, angular in nature, or bent we can tell angular in the nature, sp2 hybrid navigation. This is about structure. That means it is having three of an atom all are octet to each other. That's about structure of the ozone. See, it is having actually bond angle 117 degree. This one 117 degree. Due to this one lone pair, the bond angle from 122 it has been changed to 117. Okay. So that's about ozone. And what are its application? It is used as bleaching agent. Even it bleaches ivory. So many, that is even wool, even pulp or paper. Okay. And ozone is used for ozonizer water for bleaching action and it is fit for drinking purpose. Like this, you can have so many, that is the applications. So let us go for after this ozone. Next turn after dioxygen and ozone. Now it's a turn now. Allotropes of sun. Allotropes. Other drops of sulfur. Oh, see, the other drops of sulfur has rhombic sulfur. Rhombic sulfur is also called, remember, yellow sulfur. Yellow sulfur, or it is also called as alpha phosphorus. Okay, yellow sulfur or alpha sulfur, or it is also called as rhombic sulfur. Rhombic monoclinic actually. Okay, rhombic and monoclinic, especially triclinic is also there, but this is not so. See, most people other drop of the sulfur is rhombic sulfur, which is also called yellow sulfur, or it is also called alpha sulfur. What are the structural features? See, this rhombic sulfur, actually it is also called yellow sulfur. It is a crystalline form of sulfur. This rhombic sulfur is actually has structural features. It is yellow in color, as color is concerned. It is crystalline form, most stable structure of the sulfur. Out of sulfur, that is rhombic, monoclinic and triclinic, this is the most stable, that is sulfur, other drop of the sulfur. What are its structural features? See, it mainly exists as S8 ring form. That means it is having a crown ring-like structure. Crown ring-like structure, that is in S8 ring. What is that crown ring-like structure? Just observe here. See, these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. That means I always used to tell you sulfur in octaatomic. This is called crown ring structure for the sulfur. Sulfur only existing crown ring structure like this. That means it is having 8 covalent bonds. To break this, we need more energy. That's why melting point of this rhombic sulfur will be very high. Okay? Right. Now, coming to this crown ring structure, the bond angle will be in between here. These are 1.7 degrees. Right? Okay. Then what are other structural features? It is a crystalline form. It smelts at 385.8 Kelvin. Remember, 385.8 Kelvin with the specific gravity 2.06 grams per cubic centimeter. Specific gravity of it is 385.8 with the 2.06 grams per cubic centimeter. This is also called endosulfur, or that is, once again I am repeating, rhombic sulfur. Okay, like this will melt. Okay, generally how this is prepared? This rhombic sulfur is made into like this crown ring-like structure. How? So to take a raw sulfur, okay, and heat it, and after heating, you will get that black color fuels that are dissolved in where? In carbon disulfide. And by repeated, that is what what we call as chromatography. We have to take it out and we make it like this crown ring-like structure. Okay, just by heating how much? Up to 369 Kelvin. They will melt up, and each bonds are separated by chromatographic method, and they are made into like this crown ring-like structure. Okay, with the melting point of 385.8 and the specific gravity 2.06 grams per cubic centimeter. And this is insoluble in water, less soluble. Okay, sparingly soluble in alcohol, but readily soluble in carbon dioxide. Remember, these are the structural feature of what? The rhombic sulfur. This is the most stable anisotropic form of sulfur. Next, coming to monoclinic sulfur or beta sulfur, monoclinic sulfur or beta sulfur, monoclinic sulfur or beta sulfur, monoclinic sulfur or beta sulfur. It will also have another one. This is also called prismatic sulfur. That is actually amorphous form, yellow crystalline form. That is different. That is also called plastic sulfur. But this is monoclinic or beta sulfur. This monoclinic sulfur, okay, actually it is also, that means it is prepared. How it is prepared? It is prepared by heating. It is prepared by heating. It is prepared by heating. Rhombic sulfur, same rhombic sulfur above 369 Kelvin, above 369 Kelvin. That means above 369 Kelvin, slowly rhombic sulfur get transited to monoclinic sulfur. Therefore, transition temperature of conversion of sulfur rhombic to sulfur monoclinic. Remember, sulfur rhombic to sulfur monoclinic. Okay, that is SM. Sulfur rhombic to sulfur monoclinic. M stand for monoclinic and S stand for rhombic. These are geometrical crystalline forms. Okay, if you heat above 369, greater than 369, it gets changes to sulfur monoclinic. Below 369, once again this can be interconverted into sulfur monoclinic. Therefore, transition temperature is 369 Kelvin. Very important for 1 mark, 7 for CET purpose. And this monoclinic sulfur is having the melting point 393 Kelvin melting point and specific gravity here 1.86. You get slowly melting point will decreases. Sorry, it is 1.98 specific gravity grams per cubic centimeter. What is this? Specific gravity. Specific gravity is 1.9. Oh. So that's about. This is also readily soluble in carbon dioxide. But see, generally, that means both sulfur rhombic and sulfur monoclinic, both they are stable. They exist in S8 crown ring structure. S8 crown ring structure. Both rhombic and monoclinic. Apart from this sulfur rhombic, sulfur monoclinic and plastic sulfur, that is amorphous form, prismatic sulfur, amorphous form, sulfur also exists as S6 ring. S6 ring in cycloform. Cycloform or cyclic ring. Okay, chair form. That is called chair form. What is, let us see. Chair form, see, it will be seen like this. One, two, three, four, five. And 6. Okay, this is a chair form. This is called as cycloform. Right, and these are existing for generally at about 1000, that is Kelvin in the cycloform. That means they can form 6 to 20 rings like this cycloform. That is S6. Here bond angle will be 102 degree, 102.2. This is called chair. And they are strain free like that of cycloalkanes. And above 1000 Kelvin, they also exist as S2 rings, which are paramagnetic. Why they are paramagnetic? Because they contain 2 unpaired electrons like that of dioxygen. But above both S6, S8 ring, both are diamagnetic in the nature. And these are existing at about generally 600 to 800 Kelvin. Above 4000 Kelvin, sulfur can also exist as disulfide ring S2. That is para-magnetic in the nature like that of dioxygen. But S6 ring form, it is called chain form, cycloform, and S8 is called ground ring structure, where monoclinic and rhombic exist, not others. Right? Remember, these are the allotropic forms of the sulfur. After allotropic forms of the sulfur, let us move on to sulfur dioxide, another important compound of the sulfur. But remember, in theory, they will ask you only regarding structural feature differences between sulfur rhombic and sulfur monoclinic. Sulfur rhombic, most stable, cannot be get transited to sulfur monoclinic at 369 Kelvin. Sulfur rhombic, okay, just I told you 385.8 Kelvin melting point, 2.06 specific gravity. Okay, and this one monoclinic sulfur, that is 393 Kelvin melting point and 1.98 specific gravity. Right? Transition temperature above 369 sulfur rhombic to sulfur monoclinic, below 369 monoclinic to sulfur rhombic, but stable one rhombic. But both sulfur rhombic, sulfur monoclinic, they exist in round ring structure, S8 rings. See, as I showed you, S8 ring very very important for CET purpose. Once again I will repeat that. I shown you this S8 ring form, right? This is called round ring structure for CET, and for NEET purpose they ask you covalent bonds as well as lone pair of bonds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Each sulfur atom, it is forming 2 covalent bonds. There are 6 valence electrons, remaining 2 lone pairs. And this 2 lone pairs, 2 lone pairs, 2 lone pairs, right? And here also 2 lone pairs, right? 2 lone pairs, 2 covalent bonds, 2 lone pairs, 2 covalent bonds, 2 lone pairs and 2 covalent bonds. Okay? Right. Like this, how many sets are there? 8 sulfur atoms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Therefore, 8 4 are 32 lone pairs. 32 lone pairs. 16 pairs actually. 1, 2, 3. That's only 32 electrons, but 16 pairs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 16 pairs, 32 lone pairs. Okay? How many covalent bonds? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 covalent bonds. And how many bonding pair? That's only 8 bonding pair, 16 lone pairs. This was the question they have asked in the CET and NEET. Okay? Now coming to next, sulfur dioxide, another important compound of the sulfur, SO2. Sulfur dioxide, SO2. Method of preparation. The sulfur dioxide is prepared by generally sulfides SO3 2 minus with the acids form sulfur dioxide and H2O. Right? That is 2H plus and just it will form sulfur dioxide H2O. That means in the laboratory they are prepared by the acid hydrolysis of the sulfides. And this sulfide may be sodium bisulfide NaHSO3, remember. Or this may be sodium sulfide Na2SO3. But at the maximum potassium, but not others. And acid may be H plus, acid may be HCl and H2SO4, sulfuric acid, but can't be HNO3, right? So that's about preparation. That means in the laboratory, sulfur dioxide is prepared by acid hydrolysis, either HCl, H2SO4 with the sulfide, that is sodium sulfide or potassium sulfide, not other sulfides. That's one lab method. Apart from this, sulfur dioxide can also be prepared by secondly by pyrite burners. Pyrite burners will undergo combustion 4Fe211. Iron sulfide gets converted into iron oxide, ferric oxide and ferrets SO2. Sulfur 2Fe2O3, 8SO3. Okay, 8SO. That's it. This is called iron pyrite. Iron pyrite or pyrite burners. By burning pyrite burners, sulfur dioxide can be reduced. Another method. And in organic, especially this is called as what we call as sulfide oxide into oxidose. That is called roasting. Okay. Right. This is also further usually what in manufacture of sulfuric acid by contact process in the production of SO2. So that's about another important that is what production of sulfur dioxide. Even by direct combination, by direct combustion of sulfur with oxygen, okay, we will get sulfur dioxide. These are the ways of method of preparation of sulfur dioxide. Now this sulfur dioxide is highly acidic in the nature with +6 oxidation state, okay, and highly acidic in nature, highly water soluble, and it is forming a dense acid fumes whenever dissolved in the water and have irritating action on ice. That means SO2 dissolves in water readily and forms sulfurous acid H2, which is highly acidic in the nature. Not only this is having a reaction with especially with base like sodium hydroxide and forms sodium sulfate Na2H2. Further sodium sulfide is another mole of SO2. It can form in water can form sodium bisulfate NaHSO, 2NaHSO3. That means with the base it will form sodium sulfide, and sodium sulfide along with once again excess SO2 can be converted to sodium bisulfide or sodium sulfide with dissolving in the water. Right? Now same way even calcium oxide also, like the sulfur dioxide, it's a metal oxide, will form calcium sulfide CaSO3. All these reactions what it shows the acidic nature of sulfur dioxide, forming sulfurous acid, sodium sulfide salt, reacting with a strong base, sodium hydroxide, or even potassium hydroxide, and also forming sodium bisulfide and calcium sulfide and with the calcium oxide, metal oxide. They are all properties that show the acidic nature of sulfur dioxide. And one thing, this sulfur dioxide is known for its reducing nature. It is also having what is that? Oxidizing power or bleaching action due to reducing nature. Ozone is famous for bleaching action due to oxidizing power due to nascent oxygen, but this will due to reducing nature. That is what? Hydrogen. Let us see what is that reducing property. The reducing property of this sulfur dioxide. So that is mainly explained on this reducing nature or reducing property. The sulfur dioxide reacts with 2 moles of sulfuric acid and form sulfuric acid and produces nascent hydrogen. This is called nascent hydrogen, which is very important to show. The bleaching action of sulfur dioxide is not permanent. It is due to this hydrogen. But bleaching action of oxygen is permanent due to moisture. Okay. But let us see what are some properties. It will reduces potassium permanganate in neutral medium, not in acidic medium. Okay. So manganese sulfate and sulfuric acid. Okay. So manganese sulfate and sulfuric acid along with the K2SO4. That 5SO2, 2KMnSO4 and generally MnSO4, 2H2SO4 right? Sulfur. This is how you can balance this particular equation. That means 2 KMnO4 5 2 H2O, K2SO4, 2 MnSO4, 2 H2SO4, 2 MnSO4, 2 H2SO4, K2SO4 and 2 H2O. Right? Potassium permanganate plus 7, right? Reduced to plus 2. That means here pink color is discharged, intense purple color is discharged to pale pink due to formation of manganese. Sulfur dioxide itself is reduced to plus 2 to, okay, sorry, it is reduced and it is oxidized to plus 6. That is plus 4 to plus 6. But here it acts as powerful reducing agent. It reduces manganese potassium permanganate to manganese sulfate, oxidizes itself to sulfuric acid along with the potassium sulfate. This is one reaction to show the powerful reducing agent. Not only that, even ferric chloride, FeCl3, SO2, neutral medium 2, FeCl3, HCl and H2SO. Very important. Okay? That is 2 SO2 and 2 H2O. I think generally 2 SO2 and 2 H2O. Just you will get 2 FeCl3, sorry, 2 FeCl2 and 2 HCl, because we have written here SO2. Right. This is about, sorry, the reaction of reducing reaction. Ferric, neutral ferric chloride, yellow color get discharges to colorless plus. Once again plus 4 2. Okay, that is plus. Like this, potassium permanganate to manganese sulfate. Neutral ferric chloride, yellow color solution to ferrous chloride, colorless ferrous chloride. Ferric to ferrous. Itself once again to HCl, H2SO4 itself, but along with HCl. Okay. These are the very important reducing property for Newton. Just remember, no need to remember balance equation, only just products KMnO4 to NnSO4, FeCl3 to FeCl3. That's it. SO2 itself to H2SO4. Oh, these are the reducing property of sulfur dioxide. Now coming to addition reactions. Some addition reactions, generally what you will say is thionyl chloride combines with chlorine. So sulfur dioxide combines with chlorine to form sulfuryl chloride. In the presence of what? That is charcoal. Charcoal as a catalyst, or camphor as a catalyst. Now you will get this particular that is sulfuric chloride, charcoal or camphor. And this question was asked this time. Okay, Karnataka CE, that is 2020. This question was asked already this year. The presence of charcoal or camphor, sulfuryl chloride, not thionyl chloride, sulfuryl chloride. Even the sulfur dioxide even combines it will oxidize. Okay, SO2 plus O2 giving what? 2SO3. Sulfur dioxide giving what? Vanadium pentoxide or platinum in the presence of platinum radical as about 723. Like this, it will get okay, these are the lastly reducing and these are oxidizing and even addition reactions of sulfur dioxide. Okay, now lastly we will wind it up with the lastly structure of this SO. Sulfur dioxide is having sp2 hybridization having angular structure. You already know. Sulfur having 6 valence electrons share with 2 oxygen atoms forming double bond, and here 2, 4, 6 and 2, 4, 6, 8. Sulfur itself, that is and 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 4, 6 maximum 4, covalence, and this is also angular and making the bond angle SO2 generally exactly it is having due to this lone pair it is 119.5, but hybridization means sp2 angular in the nature 1, 2, 3 plus sorry sp3. It should have tetrahedral, but it is bent V shape. Right? Okay. So that's about sorry 1, 2, 3 sp2 only angular with respect to bond at 1, 2, 3. That is angular or bent with the bond angle of 109.5. Right, like this sulfur dioxide, you know, it is used to produce so many important compounds in oxidation, especially in contact process we can produce as a main key step SO3, right? And sulfur dioxide is known for its reducing nature as well as even oxidizing nature due to what? And it is also famous for bleaching action due to nascent hydrogen. Remember, nascent hydrogen, famous for its reducing property. That's about sulfur dioxide, another important compound of the sulfur. That means today I have covered the very important students, ozone, O3, okay, then after O3, next not sulfur dioxide, other drops of the sulfur ohmic, sulfur monochloric, and generally that is what we call it as S8, S6 ring forms, prismatic sulfur, and lastly this sulfur dioxide preparation properties, reducing nature mainly, and its structure. So today we will complete here. So goodbye students and enjoy the day. So tomorrow's class, lastly, I will complete, only one is remaining, that is what? Sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid by contact process, which is deleted for theory, but for CET it is there. Then afterwards we will complete even the properties and oxidations of sulfur. Tomorrow 16 group will be over.